What's up, YouTube, and welcome to the first episode of LA Street Legend. First one gonna be on Nipsey. Out of respect for him, make sure you like and subscribe for more content to come.
Neighborhood Nip Hustle, slausonboy.com. Giving y'all the walk through in the turf. We right here on 10th Ave, John Block, and 60th right here. You know what I'm saying? You heard about it in the songs. 10th Ave, Brian Hurst, Scrabble if you get mad. This the block.
Born on August 15, 1985 in Los Angeles, California, Nipsey came from the Rollin 60s neighborhood crip gang, one of the largest black gangs in LA. The 60s got many cliques. The most important ones are the Avenues, Arlington Gang, Front Hood, Overhill, and Dime Block. Nipsey was from the Dime Block clique. Dime Block has always been the most militant set. Ground zero for them is the Dorset Village apartment in 10th Avenue. These kids are mostly from broken homes, lower income families, and take pride in frontlining. Nipsey attended Alexandra Hamilton High School, which he later dropped out before graduating because he was accused of breaking into the school's computer lab. But because of that, his mom kicked him out at the young age of 14, and he had to move in with his grandma. Although he lived with his grandma, he was honestly on his own and hung on the dime and had drug spots on the dime. On around the age of 15, the year 2000, by Big Thundercat, aka TC1. Big Thundercat was Nipsey's big homie. Nipsey's hood name was Little Thundercat, aka TC2. For people that don't understand the number shit, it's a title that has nothing to do with the age and to do with the generation to follow. A logical timeline. Like if there's two niggas named Thundercat and you get put on as the third nigga named Thundercat, your hood name's gonna be Baby Thundercat, aka TC3. You stay Baby Thundercat your whole life. Even if you get old, like 50, 60, you're still considered Baby Thundercat. The generation as follows. It goes from Big 1 to Little 2 to Baby 3 to Tiny 4 to Infant 5 to Newborn 6 to Midget 7. However, not all hoods got the same generation. There's some hoods got different names for the different generations. But overall, I think you guys got the point. A lot of people get confused on how Nipsey was from the Dimes, but his big homie Big Thundercat 1 was from Overhill. But basically, the reason Nipsey is from the Dime while his big homie is Overhill, it's because in the 60s, you get jumped in. Whatever group you live in or hung with, that's the clique. You feel me? You can get put on by some guy from Overhill. If you live and always hung with the Dimes, you're considered a guy from the Dime Block too. So allegedly, Nipsey had 3 bodies when he used to be a frontliner and a shooter between the ages of 15 and 19 for the 60s. One of them being on the 8 Gangster Crips, the second one on the Inglewood Family's Blood, and the last on the Hoover Criminals. But don't get it twisted though. He wouldn't go out on missions and do stuff. His enemies would come to his set and he would actually defend his set in life. He wasn't some sort of crash dummy that would pull out a gun and shoot at them directly. He would try to ask them for a fade. But of course, like many people don't fight nowadays, and so he had to do what he had to do at the end of the day. And Nipsey was actually hustling. He would go on MC and sling rocks regularly. He used to make a lot of money back then. He also used to shine shoes when he was 11 for $2.50 to pay for school clothes. He had a goal of 100 shoes a day, which would gain him the name Nipsey Hussle by his friend Baby Gucci. His nickname was inspired by the legendary comedian Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey put money on OGPD rap books and got him a lawyer in 2011 when the 60s forgot about him. Nipsey was also into it with the families, the Centinela Park family, and Inglewood family law. Nipsey and Firebug from Centinela Park family got into multiple shootouts. Nipsey started rapping at the age of 12. What really made him rap is he started seeing other cities like New York being represented by rappers and LA wasn't. His area and his whole side of town wasn't being spoken for. Nipsey knew that his potential playoffs for rapping was bigger than anything he could do in the streets. Knowing that staying in the streets won't help him provide for his family and his loved ones, Nipsey was really independent, printing CDs on his own, putting up posters, robbing people to pay for studio time. After Epic Records had financial issues in 2010, Nipsey left the label and continued to be an independent artist. After leaving Epic, Nipsey formed his own record label, All Money In, on December 21st, 2010. He released his first All Money In Records mixtape titled The Marathon. In the same year, Nipsey would be in the XXL Freshman and gain way more popularity. He followed with another mixtape a year later called The Marathon Continues, and a year later Nipsey announced the third and final installment of the Marathon mixtape series. Street Lab was to be released in 2013 after being pushed back from December 2012. Nipsey's dreams was to bring black-owned business and jobs to his South LA neighborhood, and Nipsey spent several $7 million on a strip mall property on Crenshaw Boulevard. With several stores, he had bigger plans for black people in the world. His goal was to work with the black community leaders in other U.S. cities to create similar business and rural design to benefit rather than push out the black community. On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey would be in a parking lot in front of his own store, The Marathon Clothing, when someone walked up to him and started shooting, hitting Nipsey more than 10 times. Nipsey was pronounced dead at the hospital at 3:55 p.m. He was only 33 years young. LAPD reported a shooting at 3:20 p.m. where 3 people were shot and transported to the hospital. Aminus Davison Absalom was struck by gunfire at least 10 times and died at the hospital. Allegedly, Nipsey spent part of that afternoon signing autographs, taking photos with fans, and talking with friends when Eric Holder, aka Fly Mac, or Shitty Cuz, approached Nipsey. They both shook hands. They had a 4-minute conversation, and at some point the topic turned to snitching. Fly Mac allegedly was put off from the hood due to snitching, which was denied by his homie.
So, I mean, Nip passing while you were locked up must have been the craziest shit ever.
Ever.
Especially if you knew the person who was associated with this.
Yeah, that was the craziest shit. That was some shit. And like, I ain't gonna elaborate. You just gotta respect that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
I feel you.
at the end of the day, both them niggas is something like my brothers. You get what I'm saying? We just ain't the same blood. Like, so it's gonna be hard for me to accept another nigga after you done killed my boy. You get what I'm saying? Cause you know that's my boy, and it could have went different. You could have handled shit different, period. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just that. Cuz didn't tell on nobody, and that's the only thing I'm gonna say. Everybody trying to call him a snitch. That was some false information that was going around.
Really?
So, but I ain't gonna elaborate on that. Nip, my dog, that shit hurt a nigga, cause then when I found out who it was, it choked the nigga up. I lost two of my good people at one time. And you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you killed the face of the hood. Nigga, he's the one that got the hood going crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you don't know what type time somebody's in, what they own in their head when you approach people. You gotta remember, like, niggas ain't out here thinking right when they don't got no money. A motherfucker just, jealousy kicks in. Shit like that kicks in. You know what I'm saying? That shit, and you got a killer instinct. It's like the only way I could beat him. You know what I'm saying? The only way certain people could beat the elite, nigga, is by killing them. They'll never be like you. That's why I don't want to do no interviews about Nip. That was my, nigga, I got A and B on my face. Nigga, we got it the same day. Nigga, I'm not doing no interviews about Nipsey.
Is that what people always want to talk to you about now?
Yeah, you know how many people hit me about that shit? And then trying to say, can you get Eric to talk? Like, well, no, nigga. No. I'm not involved with that. I lost my homeboy. That shit ain't no check that can fulfill that.
Damn.
Fly Mac confronted Nipsey about it, then pulled out a gun and started shooting at Nipsey. And man, if I tell you about Nipsey's legacy after his passing, this will be a 2-hour video at minimum. You guys already know how Nipsey was loved by his community and by LA. The globe was shocked when they heard the news of his death. There were tens of thousands at the marathon paying their respect to Nipsey. Nipsey embodied everything he said in his interviews, and so many people looked up to him due to all the accomplishments of Nipsey. But I tried my best to keep it simple. May Nipsey rest in peace.